Saturday, July 18th. I'm coming to do it with my good friends, Miss Callum Bonner and Miss Geneva Kennedy, who always puts it down. It's Boosie Badass and Friends, and it's going down, y'all. King George, Westlove, Pastor Derek Changeman Smith, MC Lightfoot. Listen, don't delay. Do it today. Get your tickets. Make sure you have your face in the place. Because, baby, I'm coming to swing. It's going to be rolling on the river, swinging on the river, singing on the river, praise on the river. Don't miss it. Make sure you have your face in the place, y'all. And one more thing I got to tell you before I leave. Change ain't change until you change. I'll see you there later.
Can I say
What it do, everybody? It's Pastor Derek Changeman Smith. Come on in, grab a pen, and make sure you tell your friend I got some news you can use, and it's all about the blues. And speaking of the blues, the 26th Just Blues Awards is going down in Biloxi, Mississippi, and you don't want to miss it. Now, they have an amazing lineup, several days of exciting entertainment and fellowship, and it's going to be amazing. But what I want you to know, I stopped by to let you know that on Thursday, July the 30th, yours truly will be headlining a tribute to the one and the only Little Milton. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I love to pay homage to my predecessors whose shoulders that I stand on, and I stand tall because they stood tall. And I don't think that it's anything but proper but to give the respect to those who have influenced me, because without them there would be no change made. So I'm just so thankful to be able to give this tribute, and I'm inviting you to come out and enjoy this awesome. Matter of fact, just come and enjoy the whole week of festivities, but make sure you be on Thursday night. It's yours truly, Pastor Derek Changeman Smith. I love you, and remember, change until you change.
to hear my baby say goodbye?
Coming up next on the BoardRoom Report.
The moment that fear walks into your boardroom, it fires your best people, cancels your strongest projects, and convinces you that survival requires destroying everything that you've built. Fear doesn't just make bad decisions. It makes decisions that feel urgent, rational, and absolutely necessary. That is, until the damage is done. Welcome to the BoardRoom Report.
SKD TV is where entertainment meets purpose, leadership meets execution, and where ministry meets excellence, where music moves hearts, not just hips. We want to welcome you to SKD TV, the home of premium inspirational entertainment, something kind of different. This is the year of expansion. Not theory, not talk. Expansion. Brought to you by the Change Agent Network, powered by SKD Entertainment, and distributed by SKD TV. If you're ready to move, if you're ready to build, if you're ready to expand, then you have come to the right room. Welcome to the BoardRoom Report. Strategic direction for clear execution. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you now Pastor Derek, the Change Man Smith.
Come on in, come on in, come on in, everybody. Come on in, everybody. Come on in, grab a pen and make sure you tell your friend that Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith is on your screen. That's right. I'm here, and I'm so excited being here for another tremendous episode on a triumphant Tuesday for the BoardRoom Report. Come on in, everybody. Come on in, come on in. Man, we got to get into it tonight. We got to get into it. I want to let you know that we are so excited that we are entering our second season of 2026. And this year, God gave us a charge. He told us back in October of 2025, he said, prepare the people of God for the year of expansion. And so we are excited that the BoardRoom Report is in conjunction with the year of expansion. If you've been with us, you know that we've been planning for this, and now we are in the middle of this. We are literally in the middle of the year, here in the middle of the year of manifestation, the middle of the year of expansion. And I pray that you are getting all the downloads and all the uploads and all the favor and expansion and all of this increase that God has promised for you. And if you're not, I got one question for you. What you waiting on? You got to plug in. You got to plug in. You got to plug in. And if you plug in, I'm telling you today that you will get everything that God has told you to get in this hour. He told me to tell you that this is squeezing season, and Jesus is the reason for the squeezing. He is not stressing you. He is stretching you. Yes, he is. And so we want to welcome you to the BoardRoom Report. Here we have a Tuesday night discussion where we assist people who are making decisions. If you are in any type of capacity where you make decisions and you have a responsibility to serve people or responsible for the decisions that you make that are beyond just you, this is the room that you need to be in. And tonight we are moving into a new dimension where the BoardRoom Report is now going to give the report on the rooms that we live in. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good. And tonight we are very excited about what we have for you on tonight. So I want you to go ahead and get your TYOE notebook, and I want you to get ready to do this deep dive with us so that you can get some structure to your and some strategies and some systems, bring some clarity to your clutter. Again, I want to welcome everybody to the BoardRoom Report. Welcome to SKD TV. I am the one and the only Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith, and here's where we discuss strategic direction and clear execution for business owners, pastors, entrepreneurs, executives, managers, every person for leading and that's responsible for leading people. And I want you to lead those people well, for mothers, aunties, coaches, whatever position, supervisors, or whatever position that you hold. I want to help you lead and lead people well. Tonight we're talking about the panic room. Yes, tonight we're talking about the panic room, when fear starts making decisions. Oh man, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So come on in. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Now, before I get really deep into this, let me start off by setting up the premise this way. I want to be clear about what I mean when I say the panic room. Now, when we think about the word panic room, I know we all think about that physical safe room that wealthy people build in their homes. They install this in their homes, and it's a reinforced space with steel doors and communication systems. You know, you be seeing them with those pads, digital pads, and it's communication systems where you hide when there's actual danger. But the panic room I'm speaking of tonight is not that physical room. It's actually the psychological room. That it's the space where leaders, when fear takes control, this is where they go. This panic room is the complete opposite of the physical one, because a real panic room provides safety and protection. But the panic room that I'm speaking of actually creates danger and destruction. Now, this is the mental space where rational thinking gets locked out, where strategy gets replaced by survival instinct, and where leaders make decisions not based on facts and wisdom, but mainly on fear and emotions. Now, here's what happens. Leaders are making panic decisions disguised as strategic moves. And it's panic, but they are describing it, or in their mind processing it as a strategy. Here are a few examples. When the market dips and suddenly you start laying off half of your team, a competitor launches something new and you're pivoting your entire business because of what you're seeing the fella across the street is now doing. Cash flow gets tight for a week or two, and now you're considering selling assets that took you years to build. A lot of people do this when it comes down to pawn shop. You go to the pawn shop, you'll go and pawn your family heirloom because things are getting tight. Or you might find that one board member expresses concern and now you're restructuring your whole entire organization. That's not strategy, that's panic. And here's the cruel irony in this. While a physical panic room is designed to keep threats out, the psychological panic room invites every fear to come in and take a seat at the decision-making table. In a real panic room, you will wait until the danger passes. Then you will emerge from there with a plan. But in this panic room, you make permanent changes to address temporary problems. Now, why does this matter? It matters because panic decisions creates more problems than they solve. Can I say that again? I said panic decisions that you make out of panic, they create more problems than they solve. They destroy trust, they eliminate options, and they turn temporary challenges into permanent damage. Permanent damage. Permanent damage. Temporary challenges. These are only temporary challenges. I dare you to just take a moment and just write it on your paper. Whatever you're going through today, it's only temporary. It's only temporary. It's only temporary. So don't create permanent damage for a temporary challenge. Now, who's affected? Every person in your organization who has to live with the consequences of your decisions, they're the ones who are affected. Your customers who experience your chaos, your vendors who gets canceled, your family who bears the stress of reactive leadership, and you, because panic decisions, they compound. They create bigger crises that require even more dramatic responses. The panic room is where good leaders make terrible choices because they confuse urgency with emergency. They confuse pressure with panic and reaction with response. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Can I say that one more time for somebody that just logged on? Come on in. Come on in. You did not scroll up on this video by happenstance. This was intentional. There's a lot of intentionality in this program, and I know that there's purpose for you to be watching this right now. The panic room is where good leaders, supervisors, pastors, mothers, fathers, the people who are responsible for making decisions. This is the room that they go to and they make terrible choices because they confuse urgency with emergency, pressure with panic, and reaction with response. Some things are going to come along with the call that's on your life. Some things are going to come along with the mandate that God has entrusted you to. Some things are going to come along. Some pressure just comes along with purpose. And if you don't understand that, you will abort your mission. You will delay reaching success, all because you're not handling what comes along, the side effects that comes along with it. All right. Now, let's talk about the principle of this. The governing principle of this is pressure reveals character, but panic destroys it. Can I say that again? Pressure reveals character, but panic destroys it. Every leader will face pressure. Every leader will face pressure. I'm talking to you. You will face pressure. If you're not in the pressure cooker, wait a while. It's coming. Every leader will face pressure. The market shifts, personnel problems, financial challenges, competitive threats, technology disruptions, cultural changes. The question isn't whether pressure will come. It's how will you respond to it? It's whether you will respond or react. Now, here's the difference that I want you to know, that response comes from your values, your experiences, and your strategic thinking. But reaction comes from your emotions, your fears, and your survival instincts. Now, let me give you a quick biblical example that perfectly illustrates this principle. When David went to go fight Goliath, he was under enormous pressure. The entire army of Israel was paralyzed with fear because King Saul was offering his armor, his weapons, his daughter in marriage, anything to get someone to go fight this giant. The pressure was on. But David, he didn't panic. He didn't throw rocks randomly hoping something would happen. He didn't throw them thinking maybe I'll get lucky. He responded based on his faith, his experience with the lion and the bear, and his understanding of the situation. Let me just put a pause for the cause right there. I said he responded based on his faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You're going to have faith to endure your pressure. Then the other thing that he had was he had experience. He had a resume. Yes, he had a resume. His resume reminds him of what he's already come through. And you have a resume. You need to look back at what you've accomplished. That's the purpose of a resume. When you are interviewing for a new position, you bring your resume to show them where you've been. So he had his faith and then he had his resume. Oh, this is good. Yes, yes. And so he had experience. He had already killed the lion and the bear and the tiger and oh my. And now he was able to bring those two things to this fight. But there's one more thing that he brought. He brought his understanding of the situation. Again, you must understand the pressure that you're going through. You must understand that if you are beginning to work out and you haven't worked out in a long time and you're now in the gym and you start exercising, whether you're doing stretching or lifting weights or some type of cardio, you need to understand your body is going to respond. You're going to have some aches and some pains that you haven't had in a while. And that is what we call the side effect of you pursuing purpose. And so that's what I mean when he understood the situation. Yeah, check this out. One smooth stone strategically placed because he thought before he acted. One smooth, he thought before, but look at Saul in the same story. The moment he saw Goliath, panic set in, and for 40 days, for 40 the whole days, he let fear make his decisions. No strategy, no plan. Saul entered the panic room the moment that the giant showed up, and he stayed there until a teenage shepherd boy showed him what leadership looks like under pressure. Now, let me break this down as to what happens in the panic room. First, time compression. All right, this is the first thing. This is where you want to take your notes. Time compression. This is what happens when you enter into the panic room. Everything becomes urgent, compressed. Every decision needs to be made right now. Every problem needs to be solved today. Fear convinces you that waiting equals failure. Fear convinces you that waiting equals failure, that deliberation equals weakness, that patience equals disaster. But here's the truth. Most of the problems that you have, they feel urgent, but they aren't emergencies. Most decisions that feel time sensitive can benefit from strategic thinking. Most crises that seem immediate have been building for weeks and for months. So time, that's the first thing that you'll notice when you enter into the panic room. Everything is compressed. Everything is urgent. It goes from an urgency that makes you now feel like it's an emergency. Here's the second thing. The second thing is option elimination. Panic narrows your choices. You stop seeing alternatives. You stop considering creative solutions. And fear presents you with false evidence. That's what I want to say. Yeah, false evidence appearing real. Either we cut costs or we go bankrupt. Either we pivot or we fall. Either we move fast or we lose everything. The panic room makes you forget that there are usually multiple paths forward. That problems often have more than two solutions. That the choice between A and B might actually be C, D, or a combination, as they used to put on those bubble tests, E, all of the above. And so that's what you're going to find. First is time compression. Then second is option elimination. Third, the third thing that you're going to find when you enter into the panic room is isolation. Yes, isolation. So you have compression, elimination, and isolation. Yes, the panic room is a lonely place. You stop consulting your advisors because you don't want to appear uncertain. You stop involving your team because you think speed requires unilateral action. You stop seeking counsel because you believe the situation is too urgent for input. Isolation amplifies fear. That's why I believe in my heart that God goes and leaves the 99 to go rescue the one. The Bible talks about it's not good that man should be alone. Without having support, no matter what you're going through, no matter what situation, complication, agitation, I want to encourage you today to make sure that you connect with your covenant partners. Not your common partners, but your covenant people. These are people who love you for you, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, they're there for you. If you've got money, they're there with you. If you don't have no money, they're there with you. If you go to jail, they're there with you. You get out of jail, they're there with you. Those are called covenant partners, people that even when you mess up and do some of the dumbest things, because a lot of times smart people really make some dumb decisions, but you need a circle of people or someone that can be there for you, because in this third step, isolation increases. The panic room is a very lonely place. Isolation amplifies the fear. Without perspective from others, your worst case scenario becomes your most likely scenario. And this is what happens. We replay this in our mind. We replay this over and over and over, the worst case scenario. Do you not realize that what you feed will grow and what you starve will die? Can I say it again? What you feed will grow and what you starve will die. And so therefore, it's good to have somebody around you that can help feed into you the positive possibilities. Because if not, you will drown in your own self-sabotage, replaying the scenario that is the worst case scenario, and it's going to become in your mind your most likely scenario. Without input from your team, your incomplete information becomes your complete picture. All right. So now you've got compression, elimination, isolation. And the fourth one that I want to talk to you about is erosion. This is the most dangerous aspect of the panic room. When fear starts making decisions, your core value gets temporarily suspended. You pride yourself on transparency, but all of a sudden you're withholding information from your team until things settle down. You value loyalty, but you're considering replacing long-term employees, long-term friends to appease short-term concerns. You believe in quality, but you're cutting corners to reduce cost. You're committed to growth, but you're making decisions based on preservation and scarcity. But here's what's insidious about this. Fear always presents these compromises in temporary, as necessary, as strategic exceptions. But the truth of the matter is, temporary compromises often become permanent patterns. I said, oftentimes temporary compromises often become permanent patterns. All right. Now, here's the other thing that you're going to find when you go into this panic room is blindness. Yeah, the panic room has no windows to tomorrow. You can only see today's problems. You can only see today's pressure. You can only see today's threats. And you stop asking, how will this decision affect us 6 months from now? Instead, you're asking, how quickly can I make this pain go away today? You stop thinking about what you're building and you start thinking only about what you're protecting. You stop considering opportunities and you start focusing only on threats. you stop planning for growth and you concentrate only on survival. If you are operating in a day-to-day spirit of defense, if you are working in a spirit of day-to-day trying to protect versus build, then whatever you have accomplished at this stage is the only thing that you're going to have. There's no growth in that. Let me be clear on something. I'm not suggesting that you ignore problems or take pressure lightly, because that's not what I'm saying. Pressure is real. I told y'all before. I said to my mom, I said, pressure busts pipes. And she also reminded me it also creates diamonds. Challenges are legitimate. Some situations do require quick responses. It does require quick decisions. But the difference is this: you can be decisive without being in a panic emotion. You can act quickly without acting foolishly. You can address urgent matters without abandoning strategic thinking. That's why you need structure. That's why you need structure, strategy, and systems. Those three things will help you, because when you have structure, strategies, and systems, there's an order of problem solving. Even though you have to do it quickly, you still have to go through the order. Oh, yes, sir. This is some good stuff right here. This is some good stuff. Now, here's a practical example. Your biggest client just called you and said they're considering switching to another competitor. All right, your biggest one. So if you lose this client, it will cause you to have a dip in your P&L. And this is serious. This is real pressure, but it's not panic. All right. The panic response is immediately slash your price and promise features that you can't deliver, and then also badmouth your competitor. That's what a panic response looks like. But a strategic response is schedule a face-to-face meeting and ask questions to understand the concerns of your client. Evaluate what changes might be beneficial, not just for you and that client's relationship, but for you and all of your clients. And then after you do that, present solutions. Present solutions that will strengthen the relationship rather than preserve it. Again, we want to move from protecting and we want to move into growing. Both responses happen quickly, but both address the urgency. But one comes from fear and then one comes from wisdom. Listen, this is so good right here. I got more for you as soon as we return right after this. Don't you go nowhere.
You're watching an original SKD TV production. SKD TV is where entertainment meets purpose, leadership meets execution, and where ministry meets excellence, where music moves hearts, not just hips. We want to welcome you to SKD TV, the home of premium inspirational entertainment, something kind of different.
Welcome back, everybody. I am the one and the only Pastor Derek, the Change Man Smith. I want to welcome you back to the BoardRoom Report. Here is where we are giving you the clarity to your clutter. And tonight we are talking about the panic room, not the panic room that you're thinking of in the traditional sense of that room that's prepared by wealthy people that they install in somewhere in their house, and walls come down and doors shut down and they go in and got a whole nother refrigerator and living room, and they're prepared for the apocalypse, and then when the mummies come. Now, not talking about that room. We're talking about the room that you go to as a leader when you have to make decisions, when things begin to shift, when things begin to start moving in a way that you are not comfortable, and you move into the panic room. Now, I want to help you tonight with this next path. It's called the path forward. All right. So how do you stay out of the panic room? Well, I'm glad that you asked the question. Here are a few essential strategies. First of all, you need to install early warning systems. First, install early warning systems. Most panic decisions happen because problems were ignored until they became crises. If I don't say anything else, I've said a whole bunch right there that will help half of you all that's listening get some peace in your life. If you stop ignoring the signs, stop ignoring the warning signs, deal with the problems while they are small, while they are manageable, build monthly client check-ins, weekly financial reviews, regular team feedback. Every early warning gives you time to think strategically. Check your bank account every day. Look at I know you may not have the amount of money that you need to pay those bills, but face them. And I'm telling you, I know that feeling. I've been there before. But knowing the anxiety of not knowing is greater than knowing. I promise you. All right. So install early warning systems. Secondly, I want you to establish decision-making protocols, as I spoke of earlier. Before the pressure hits, decide on how you'll make decisions when pressure does arise. So what information do you need? Who should you be talking with? Who should you be consulting? How much time will you allow? Having protocols prevents fear from hijacking your process. So if you are dealing with a plumbing situation, you don't need to be dealing with your dentist. So make sure that you have already preset preparation context. All right. Establish decision-making protocols. What information do you need and who do you need? All right. Third thing is build a pressure response team. Identify 3 to 5 people who can help you think clearly under pressure. Now, this is another major one, because if you are speaking to people who fall all to pieces when it's an intense situation, they're only going to exalt your anxiety. They're going to only make the pressure cooker feel even more intense for you, and that you don't need. So find you somebody or somebodies that you can speak with, right? That will help you think clearly under pressure. Now, I'm not talking about people that just say yes to everything that you think of and yes to everything that you do, but trusted people, advisors who are going to ask you good questions and help you see options that you might miss. Now, here's the thing with that. When I spoke of that earlier about covenant connections, do not handle your covenant connections as common. Value those relationships. Mind how you respond, because the adage says that the teacher, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The best compensation that you can give to your teacher, to your partner, to your accountability partner, to your mentor, is to listen and activate. My pop says it this way. He says, listen, obey, and be blessed. Listen, obey, and be blessed. All right. The fifth thing I want to tell you, the fourth thing I want to tell you is practice value-based decision making. Your core values aren't suggestions for good times. They are guidelines through tough times. Can I say it again? Your core values, your ecosystem, those are not suggestions for a good time. Those are guidelines for tough times. I want to say that again. Your core values, your ecosystem, it's not suggestions for good times. It is guidelines. They're guidelines for tough times. Ask yourself, does this align with who we say we are? Will I be proud of this decision when the pressure passes? Do you know how many people have so much personal torment because they did things that they know they didn't want to do, shouldn't have done, that is not in their character, just because the pressure was on? But remember I told you that the pressure is only temporary. Fifth thing I want to tell you, create space for strategic thinking. Even in crisis, Build in 30 minutes of focused thinking before making a decision. This isn't procrastination. It's the difference between reacting and responding. All right. The sixth thing, communicate transparently. Silence in crisis creates rumors and additional panic. Communicate transparently. Your team needs to hear from you, especially when things are challenging, and you don't have to share every detail, but you do need to communicate. All right. Seventh thing I want to tell you, focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control. You can't control the market. You can't control customers' decisions, but you can control your response. The panic room focus on what's happening to you. Strategic leadership focus on what you're doing about what's happening to you. Oh, this is good stuff. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. This is the Boardroom Report with the one and only Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith. We'll be right back after this. Don't you go nowhere. We're about to wrap this up. All right, all right. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the Boardroom Report. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that you are getting something out of this, because I'm telling you, I know I definitely have. We are talking about the panic room, and now I want to help you with real world application. I want to help you because I always say that information doesn't bring forth transformation, but application of information brings forth transformation. So now let me give you a very powerful example of this in action. Let's say you are a CEO and you've lost your largest client, which is about 40% of your revenue, and they give you a 30 days notice. Now, your first instinct was the panic room, immediately start thinking layoffs and desperate price cuts, and you're thinking about taking away any work at any cost. You're looking at just removing that scarcity mindset. Instead, if you follow protocols, you will call your pressure response team, you'll gather complete information, and make sure you stay connected to your company values. All right. You can have a strategic response, which means that you voluntary sabbaticals instead of layoffs, increase marketing investments while you figure out how to have your cash reserves and focus on your strongest competitive advantage. And that's something that we really need to lean in when we're thinking about business. Your competitive edge, your competitive advantage, that's the thing that you really got to lean into when you are in business, no matter how insignificant you think that is. People, I recently was doing some business in real estate, and I was even considering making some moves in this particular endeavor, not so much because of the product, but because of the person that was involved. That was their competitive advantage. That was their competitive edge. So it's important for you to lean in to your competitive advantage, and instead of just chasing the competitive price. Within 6 months, if you do that, you'll exceed your own previous revenue while strengthening team loyalty and marketing positioning. And culture is so big when it comes to running your corporation. Culture is so important. The mindset. So it's important. It's very important that you take time out and have a strategic response instead of a panic reaction. All right. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Every leader faces pressure. Every leader encounters situations that can trigger panic and panic room thinking. But the difference between good leaders and great leaders isn't the absence of pressure, because that's just impossible. What makes them great versus good is the presence of strategic thinking while under pressure. You have a choice to make, and you need to make it right now before the next pressure situation hits. Are you going to build the systems, protocols, and practices that will help you lead strategically when things get difficult, or are you going to wait? Are you going to wait until you're in the middle of a crisis to then figure out how to handle it? You see, David had a choice when he was fighting Goliath. He could either join Saul in the panic room thinking, or he could remember who God had proven himself to be in previous battles. That's a question I want to ask you today. Are you seeing God as the God that has proven himself in previous battles? David chose strategic faith over fearful reaction. You have that very same opportunity today. You can build practice now that will serve you well in the future when pressure arrives at your door, because pressure is coming. You can establish relationships now that will provide wisdom when you need it, because you can clarify now. You can clarify your values now so that they guide you when fear tries to compromise you later. The panic room is always available. It's easy to enter, but it's difficult to leave. But strategic thinking under pressure, that's a skill that you develop. And you don't develop that just casually. You develop that intentionally. Practice consistently and implement when it matters most. Your next pressure situation is coming. The question isn't whether you'll face it. The question is, how are you going to face it? Will you let fear make your decisions, or will you make strategic choices that moves you forward with your long-term vision? The panic room is waiting, but so is strategic leadership. I want you to choose wisely. I am the one and the only Pastor Dick the Change Man Smith, Cross-Serve Ministries Worldwide, SKD Entertainment, SKD TV. I want to welcome you to the BoardRoom Report. This is yours truly. You've just been served. I love you. And remember, change ain't change until you change. Don't panic. We'll see you next time.
SKD TV is where entertainment meets purpose, leadership meets execution, and where ministry meets excellence, where music moves hearts, not just hips. We want to welcome you to SKD TV, the home of premium inspirational entertainment, something kind of different. Thank you for watching SKD TV.